Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
There is a war. It's happening now. It will decide the fate of humanity. The time to choose sides has come. We are the resistance. We are the Infowar.
Welcome to the Infowars Nightly News. It is Friday, September 26, 2014, and I'm Ann McAdoo. Here's tonight's top stories.
Tonight, the CIA admits to destroying the career of a prominent journalist. Then, a domestic beheading prompts concerns of terrorism. And the DHS are now the Green Police. That's next on the Infowars Nightly News.
4 or 5 years ago, they had it as the ad. The Green Police, we're coming after you.
The FBI is looking into a beheading that took place in Oklahoma yesterday. They're trying to investigate and see if there are any ties to the Islamic State. A man there was fired from an Oklahoma food processing plant. He beheaded a woman with a knife and was attacking another worker when he was shot and wounded by a company official. Police are waiting until the 30-year-old man is conscious to arrest him in Thursday's attack, and they have asked the FBI to help investigate after coworkers at Vaughn Foods told authorities that he had recently started trying to convert several employees to Islam. Now, you'll recall that it was just this Sunday when ISIS put out the call for jihadis in America to take action to behead Americans here, make us feel unsafe in our homes. And of course, now the FBI is being called in to investigate if this person has any ties to the Islamic State. He's probably, just someone who's crazy and trying to tie himself into this extremist group. But of course, they have been putting out the call to commit these acts of atrocity here in the United States. One such place is New York City. Now, they have warned on multiple occasions that they will carry out an attack. Officials there are now scrambling to reassure the city that it is safe to ride the subway and travel the streets. This is following a warning by Iraq's prime minister that Islamist militants have planned to attack the city. Now, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio each had the same idea. They wanted to take a subway ride to a busy transit hub to announce that everything was under control. De Blasio said at a hastily arranged news conference at Manhattan's Union Square, "There is no immediate credible threat to our subway system." And just down the road, Governor Cuomo said, "You are going to see a greater police presence than you have seen before. Don't be alarmed. If anything, that should be comforting." And uniformed officers, several with explosive sniffing dogs, were stationed every few hundred yards, and there were tables set up to conduct random bag searches. So here they're both saying there is no credible threat. It's an unsubstantiated threat, but they are going to be ramping up the police presence nevertheless for your safety. Now, once again, no one is talking about the very credible threat of having a wide open border where anyone can come through. But of course, they want to use the threat of ISIS to continue to further take away your rights. This is what they're going to be using ISIS for. Now, after launching these strikes inside the sovereign nation of Syria earlier this week, the Pentagon said that it was legal because it was striking against an imminent al-Qaeda threat. And of course, that's legal under a 2001 authorization of military force that they can use against those nations, organizations, or persons that were involved in the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks. Well, now the FBI and the Pentagon, they said today, they don't really know how exactly close that threat was from the Khorasan group. So the Pentagon spokesman, Rear Admiral John Kirby, said, "I don't know that we can pin that down to a day or a month or a week or 6 months. It doesn't matter. So we can have this debate about whether it was valid to hit them or not, or whether it was too soon or too late. We hit them. And I don't think, that we need to throw up a dossier here to prove that these are bad dudes. Now, no one is really arguing about that, if these are bad dudes and if it was bad that we strike them. I mean, it probably would have made a lot more sense for us to hit them when they were in a convenient convoy. But of course, we waited until there was an imminent threat, or in this case, maybe there really wasn't an imminent threat. The issue here is that they used this to justify unauthorized airstrikes in a sovereign nation. That is the issue, but they want to push that aside and say, hey, you know, whatever, they were bad, we hit them. Once again, nobody really plays by any rules. What do we have a constitution for? Now, Reuters is reporting that U.S.-led strikes are now pressuring al-Qaeda's affiliate in Syria, the Nusra Front, to reconcile with its Islamic State rivals and confront a common enemy. They say that the two share ideology and rigid Islamic beliefs, but they fell out during a power struggle between the two groups' leaders. Now, these U.S.-led air and missile strikes, which have hit Nusra as well as Islamic State bases in Syria, have angered many Nusra members who say the West and its allies have joined forces in a crusader campaign against Islam. Sources close to the Islamic State said some Nusra fighters were joining them after the strikes, and there was a growing sense among many that it was time to put their differences aside. But wait a minute, because we already reported on this merger back in June, and we've been talking about how a lot of these forces have been joining the Islamic State, giving them weapons. They are the power there in that region. This was our article. It said ISIS and al-Nusra merge on Syria-Iraq border. Saudi-funded and U.S.-trained Caliphate army gains 15,000 jihadist fighters. So, of course, why is this relevant? Because the U.S. and its allies are arming the Syrian rebel groups, their so-called friendly rebels, the moderate rebels. They've given them millions in cash. We just authorized $500 million more in weapons and training. And, of course, these are rebel groups who have admitted that they are working with ISIS. So basically here again, now Reuters is confirming this once again. And like we mentioned, these attacks are just going to further push this anti-American sentiment in the region. Now Nusra is coming out and saying that, yeah, we're probably going to go ahead and link up with ISIS as well. They had, prior to this, been focusing all of their attention on taking down Assad.
In the past decade, we have witnessed unparalleled scientific discoveries in the area of health. But no one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. DNA Force is one of the most expensive formulas to produce. Some of the ingredients in DNA Force are $12,000 a kilogram. We are using the coveted, patented, only American source of PQQ, CoQ10, and more. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? Well, we're bringing you a total win-win. The ultimate value, cutting-edge, trailblazing game changer that also supports the Infowar. We have produced a limited run of DNA Force, and it will take up to 12 weeks to produce more once we sell out. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. DNA Force from InfoWars Life.